Um, what a day today! What a day of interesting seeing people and the way they think that I'm gonna let them escape into that fantasy. First of all, let me just start with introducing myself. I'm what you call a target individual. What is a target individual? What is a TI? Is a person who is at this point targeted and a subject to human development of not human develop technology development using human subjects. We are subjects of some of the most sophisticated technology that you can imagine. We are used as this human subject to try to break, well, they try to break us using this technology that are coming from some of the most high level places you can imagine, and they're utilizing technology that is specifically um, deriving from entities in the Department of Defense, such as DARPA, and obviously they have methods that utilize CIA tactics. And what they do to us is continuously torment us in different fashion, in disgusting fashion. And these torments are meant to break us down and make us accept manipulations that are falsified. One thing they've done to me is also utilizing what you call V2K, synthetic telepathy. Synthetic telepathy is when they start manipulating your thoughts and get you to get some disturbing reactions. Now, I've talked about a lot of the things they do to me. For me, there's a lot of pedophilia-centric manipulations that are so disgusting. It's funny, they try to make you accept these manipulations and try to get you to be subscriptive of this. I've been very vocal about the things they do to me. And using my voice, I've been addressing what they've been doing to me. And what happened is they've been trying to fight in the sense of blocking our reality. I have not let them escape. You know, they do these disgusting things and want you to be as acceptive of it, saying things like, "Oh, we've mapped it, we did," when in reality, this tactic, unfortunately, is a tactic that they've been utilizing on others. There is a pattern of what they do. The pattern is super obvious, and it's funny when you see grown men and grown women with so much intellect, I would say, rationality, turning to retards. It is a sight to, it's something to see that you cannot understand. It just disturbs me to a body, like the level of disturbance I get when I see this trash doing their best to try to make me accept this thing is unbelievable. It is so hard for me to deal with it because it's disturbing. Matter of fact, they try so hard to make you be subscriptive to these fantasies they put together, but reality is always knocking on their door as they falsify reality all around me. 2 seconds ago is funny. It's not funny, but it's the projection of reality, how they project reality, is something that you cannot understand. They are projecting a false reality, and the projection is actually reality for what's happening in their world. I just saw this thing, and you're not going to even believe how disturbing this thing is. I saw this thing about Florida, right? They try to create this new law where they want to apply the death penalty to child rapists. Now, obviously, this is a thing that is just comical in a sense that no, that's not, because this child rape is terrible. But when they show this video to me, the irony of all of this is super magical, because they want me to be identified with this child rapist kind of persona. They even call me you raped a child. Like, they say the nastiest things, because one thing you understand, they try to break you down and call you and insult you in the foulest ways and try to get you to be subscriptive of the manipulation. Matter of fact, me speaking about it right now They are forcing me to get stimulations. It is disturbing. But the reason why this is very ironic is because child rape is something that in their world is something that's seen to be a pattern of some sort, at least pedophilia. Um, this article came out exposing these agencies to have a lot of problem with pedophilia. This is reality. This is not manipulations. It's not systematic manipulations. It's not systematic gaslighting. This is truly the real world. These entities contracting these perps that you see around you have problem with pedophilia. The reality of what they involved versus what they're trying to create, the distorted reality, is two things. Now, of course, after this video, you're going to listen to reality. I refuse for them to escape. And so they wanted me to look at that and be like, oh my gosh, that's what they're doing this thing to you because you're child rapists. When in reality, they are the child rapists in so many levels. The first levels is that those entities contracting these bottom feeders have a lot of pedophiles. That is a fact. There's a problem with the pedophilia. There's a pattern of pedophilia. Second level, they have this program that we're in Target Individual. They also utilize this technology that can do so much to a target individual. They can remotely rape people. They can remotely rape even women, but also they can do sexual torture onto children. This is something that you're going to hear. Like I said, I will not let them escape. But they want you to identify with something they do to, which is the pedophilia type of torture, which you're going to hear. I was in the train today. It was so disturbing. And now when I'm in the train, I literally close my eyes. As I close my eyes, I can hear little kids, little girls, little babies talking. Do you know the most disgusting thing is? They use children to be involved in this program, right? In a sense that not only they torture children, but even children are involved. And I could hear these children say things. Now you pay. And they're using this baby voice. I mean, they're babies. I'm like, this is so disturbing because it's kind of like, it's kind of adorable, but at the same time they're doing the pedophilia type of torture while they're saying that, and at the same time they kind of saying some foul things because I know reality. So they use these babies. And I was closing my eyes. They started stimulating me, target individuals, or whoever's watching. My eyes were completely closed. I don't know what these kids look like. They were around me and they were talking. And they were saying foul things, abuse, and they were saying things, some of the foulest things you can imagine. And I'm going to explain in details. And while they were talking, I was getting some stimulations, sexual stimulations and arousals. My eyes are completely closed. Completely. They're not, I'm not seeing them. But their voices, based on their voices, they start stimulating me. These perps utilizing this technology to torment me. Now, I do this on purpose. I do this on purpose that if you're going to stimulate me, I'm going to show you how obvious that this thing is. That this is not naturally. I will never just listen to like a child and feel like it's beyond the obvious. I just want to make it too obvious. Too obvious that you will not escape what you involve yourself in. If my eyes are completely, you're saying that the voice of babies now are what stimulate me, right? It's not even just looking at kids now, which is what they do all the time. But even the voices of this baby is what actually make me feel this reaction. So he's saying that when I was a child, which is what they say they mapped it, meaning that at some point in my childhood, that's how I react. And they truly make me feel like I felt like that. And give me this sensation when I was a child. I'm like, this is disturbing. First of all, I'm not a child, so this is retarded in the first place. I know that, first of all, this kind of like, if I heard a little kid talk like that, I'll be like, oh, that's so cute. What's that? Well, we're like, and I want to look at these kids like, oh, look at this adorable, wholesome thing. These babies, and But now I detest children because of the reaction these perps are making me react to, and how I'm forced to get stimulations and arousals by these low life pedos. And then with me, then this kid was saying something about use my hand or my hand or something as that. It's so disturbing. And then they would try to make me think of it's so nasty. While getting this strong sexual stimulations, right? They manipulate the sexual arousals. You're gonna listen to that now. For me, there's no escapism. There is no fucking escapism for this trash who deluded themselves that I'm gonna let them live their fantasy. It takes you a lot to not fall for this nastiness. There is so much. It's so disturbing. You have to be strong because this trash at this point are doing everything possible to live that fantasy, and for me, it's gonna be a theatrical torture. And I hear this baby saying, you use my hands," or something like that. Oh, it was so disturbing. And then they'll make me think of me when I was in 8th grade. I was in middle school. When I was in middle school, I did one stupid thing, which they have to exaggerate. A child turning just turning 14 years old, 13 turning 14. A freaking impulsive child who did something stupid. When they give me these stimulations, they make me feel like this stimulation is some stimulation I felt when I was a child. And it's falsified. It's not that feeling. It's not this weird sensation. But I did something impulsive as a child. They have the ability to manipulate your memories, so they can make it seem like you experience what they make you feel today. Now, first of all, I'm not a child. I'm not. So for you to be like, oh, we just mapped it to you, it's like, no, you made me experience something that I never experienced. But I'm not a child. So for you to say that what we're doing is mapped is like, so you just manipulate my brain to react this way toward children. But they have these patterns, this common torture of forcing people to get sexual arousals, disturbing, weird sensations. And so this kid said that, this baby was saying that, and they made me start imagining what she was saying, but with this little kid that I don't see, right? I can't see, but they make me imagine this baby, this little girl, and try to make me imagine whatever I did as a child, but with the exaggerations of using this kid's hand. It was so disgusting. All of that happening with my eyes closed, with not seeing these kids. And they were giving me stimulations and be like, this is stimulation you feel like when you were a kid. Like, this is not a stimulation I feel like when I was a kid. But most importantly, I'm not a freaking kid. Can you imagine, like, no, you felt like that when you were like 12, 13 years old? It's like, I never felt this way. You're making me feel these things. I can feel something weird happening to my brain, and my mouth is drying up, and eyes completely closed. I mean, I don't know what this kid looks like. They just made me imagine a little girl, a little toddler, like 4 or 5 year old. And they try to make me imagine this baby. And try to say, we mapped it. It's like, you think that I will ever hear a child and this sex stimulation will happen? Of course I know those the things they do. I'll make it seem so obvious. Everybody around me just looking, it's like, it's wars. Like, yeah, you know what that means. Because it was too obvious. My eyes completely closed. Do you think before I heard kids about stimulation, or even when I was a kid, I would hear that, I was like, oh, no, never. They have changed and manipulated things that maybe when I was a child, the way I would react, but change it to turn into something stimulating sexually. It's so disturbing. To say, no, we mapped it, you felt it like that when you were a kid. Like, first of all, I'm not a kid. So on its own, this logic is retarded. But the people who involve themselves in that to try to get you to subscribe to it, they're fucking trash. I gotta be honest, it's nothing more foul to listen to a father or mother of children who would be okay with these things, because of course, if these governmental entities are contracting these fucking civilians are incentivized one way or another. I'm sure there's financial aspects, because we're talking about Department of Defense type of contracting. So we're talking about a lot of freaking money. I mean, they might, I don't know how much, but I know it's not little. And even if it's not even a lot of, it's not even it's not the financial aspect. We talk about the ability to manipulate a human being. This is like a godlike feeling. You are able to see what this person is going to experience. You can almost manipulate that person. If these people cannot directly manipulate this, they're involved in a program that is manipulating me to react whatever, however they want. It's like a game where they're gods, when in reality they're just trash, involving some disturbing things. So I was in the office, and they were doing some disturbing, like the manipulation was just non-stop manipulations and disturbingness. And there's this man across me, and this I almost lost it there. But the one thing I pray is like, don't ever let go. Don't ever just let yourself, because that is weak. There's target individuals who've done things, and it's sad, but they were pushed to that level. I will never want to do that. It's just disturbingly weak, but at the same time, they push us. And so for those people who ended up going that far, they wouldn't go that far if they weren't pushed to that level. They weren't pushed to end up shooting and killing people. So I feel bad for this target individual, because they weren't. It was not in their nature to be aggressive or do horrible things like that, like killing people. But they were just influenced and manipulated in these disturbing ways that it can break anybody down. For me, it's just, I'm not going to subscribe to this. But at the same time, it's just, what disturbs me is these people are wanting you to accept these things. And of course, I'm not going to subscribe to this gaslighting. You think that the testimonials you're going to hear are just going to be obvious about the manipulations. It's so disturbing. And there's this woman, may she rest in peace, a trans woman. I want to, may she rest in peace. She is an amazing person, in the sense that her video gave me a strength that I will never, never forget. Never. She is a strong person, and not perfect. I think she was a prostitute, but she was a strong person. And the way her testimony gave me strength to make testimonials. Her name is Jackie. You're gonna listen to her testimonials, and she described this exact same thing. They are forcing her at the time, and she passed a long time. And this video was in 2011. You got on in 2011. So what I'm saying today is something she said in 2011. That they were making her think in these pedophilia ways. And it's so disturbing, because that's what they're doing to me. And she was literally describing, it's like, people around her, she doesn't know if, and you're going to listen to that, if she doesn't know if people around her were doing something, but something is happening to her in these ways. It's so foul. And so for me, it's the same. But at the same time, with me, they try to then make me think that I experienced that at some point when I was a child, which is disgusting. Because I'm not a child. Can you imagine they make you react a certain way? And like, no, when you were in middle school, you felt like that. And you, in your late 30s, you can have children that are as old as this kid they were saying that, at the age you were, they saying that they mapped it to. It's just retarded. And you have these people that work around you. This person is a smart, grown man, but you see him act and accordingly to try to make you. It's like, there is no acting that's going to make me subscribe. I know. Listen, unlike you, I'm not going to make myself retarded just for you. Because you hear these testimonials, and these people are in analytics. So you tell me you don't see a correlation here between the pedophilia type of torture and what I'm saying? Yes, you're seeing super clear, and it's not war. Stop trying to create this fantasy. You enjoy this fantasy that you're experiencing. You're in a program that's doing horrible things. This man has children, babies, 2-3-year-old babies, little girls and whatever. You know how many times he tried to make me look at this baby just so they can do the pedophilia type of torture? They literally try to make me see his kids. He's trying to, so they can do this manipulation, and he can make himself angry and be like, oh yeah, that's it, you're going to be castrated. It's like, I'd rather get castrated. If you're truly believing that I was that, you would not want to show your child. But you know it's not that. You know that this is a way people are being manipulated in this program. And you want me to subscribe to these manipulations. And you're a trash human being for trying to even use your own child, who you know you're not doing it for. Because your child is the people you should be you should be protecting your child from is the people you're actually being contracted by. You are trying to change me into these people contracting you. And he's trying to maintain. He's like, no. I'm not gonna let you escape. I know your type. I know this kind of people. They think they can really, really recreate reality, and you're gonna accept them. They want you to accept a falsification, and can they look at you straight up like that and make you believe, no, that's true, and then try to talk about me being castrated. Me being castrated means nothing. What do you mean? You work for pedophiles, and you're forcing people to experience these disgusting things, and then try to say, no, we mapped it to you when you were a kid. Imagine I look at him. This is a grown man, but not too much older than me. It's like, hey, no, we're mapping you to how you were thinking when you're in the 8th grade. You fucking serious? And try to be really black, and I'm looking. You look at me like I'm crazy. And then they try to talk about me as a child, and the stupid thing I did as a child in 8th grade. Matter of fact, they're stimulating me so much right now because they stimulated me earlier with this. When I was hearing kids, they were stimulating me. Hearing children, and make me feel like that's how I felt. No, I did something impossible, like a child can do at that age. That's what children can do. You have child in 8th grade one day, or just turning 14 years old. You understand? Children at that point can do some stupid things. Now, what you guys are involved in is the most disgusting things. Now, this thing in Florida that talks about death penalty for people who are raping children, that should be applied to people like you guys, especially with the ones that have kids, working day in and day out to try to manipulate and rewire people, target individuals to think in these ways, should be killed. To rewire a man or woman in these disturbing ways? What should happen to them? And on top of that, these agencies like the CIA, they are filled with pedophiles. And you listen to that. A man doing things to 2-year-old and 6-year-old, a CIA agent. And you guys are here trying to manipulate a man, an adult, in these sexual ways to get a reaction to children. This is systematically happening. What should happen to people like you, especially when you have children? And this is not just happening to me; it's happening to so many others. And when I hate when I see this fraud messiahs, the people they try to present themselves as they walk around like we want like trash. First of all, the people who put me in this program are super conservative, and they spend money on alleged pedophiles that they can't even say his name. You guys these people in every levels have been humiliated by reality, but they think they can act accordingly. You guys are the child rapists because you're involved in a program that can do so much horrible things to babies. These agencies are filled with pedophiles, and you are manipulating men and women in these pedophilia ways. And then you try to talk about now what you did as a kid. And what I did as a kid? Do you understand what you guys do to children with this technology? Sexually torturing them. You're gonna hear that. I will never let them escape. I will never. Well, these people are like, oh, you raped a child. It's like, well, shut up. You wishful trash. This wishful shit talking about how they're going to frame me and say rape some children here. This trash should be executed for this nastiness. If we try to frame people like this on top of that, on top of being a program that do horrible things to children, being a program that is forcing money and manipulating men and women in these disturbing pedophilia ways, being a program that is hurting children, torturing women, raping them, and try to change people in these different ways, and then you even using kids to participate. What kind of little girl? They say, yeah, use. The little baby was saying that, and then use my hand. Oh, oh, so disgusting. Well, she's saying that they are stimulating me. It's like, oh, God, poor kid. I'm so sad for you. Your mother is a trash. You're not a war. This is your baby. They try to make you think in this way, but because baby, little girl, you guys, what your mother is in and what you guys are part of, you abuse babies as young as you. They're torturing kids like you. You guys abuse and torture. That's what your mother's not telling you. And these pedophiles are running the show. This trash can even speak about Roy Moore. You work for pedos that do things to babies like you. And then when they talk about me, you know, I was a kid, a stupid kid. Kids are stupid. Adults should never do the things that these pedos are doing to kids. Adults should never be involved in things that do these things to kids. Adults should not be accept to be contracted by entities that do these things to kids. I heard they get raped and destroyed, and they are trying to compensate from reality. They've been humiliated in every way it's possible. They were trying to vilify me. It's like, do you understand that you're a man and a woman that is in a program? Do you think I ever identified because who are you to me? Do you understand that I know the roots of why I'm here? And it has nothing to do, you are just trash who are trying to create a psyop. I was listening to all the horrible things, and this woman, Jackie, she's a trans woman, I should say. And her testimony in 2011, describing exactly what I'm experiencing. At one point, she said something, I don't deserve this because I did not rape a child. I did not molest, and she means molest a child. And I did not kill. They've been trying to make me think that I raped a child. That's disgusting. They have no shame. You raped her. You raped a child. A child. They come up with this. It's like, trash. We know who's raping children. And you work for them. You're going to hear what I'm saying. And then, like, he molested. Try to talk about me as a kid in middle school and try to exaggerate it. Like, no, I didn't. I did something to myself when I was in 8th grade. An impulsive moment of a child who just learned how to do things to himself. But it's like, no, but remember when you were at the nightclub and this, like, they make me think of when I was at a nightclub between, like, in my, like, late teens, early adulthood. It was like, stupid things I did. That you guys are here zapping women's genitals. You're going to hear what they do. They are here freaking doing so much horrible things to genitals of women. You cannot even understand. I'm zapping the crap out of this woman. While trying to make me feel like, you did this, you tapped this. Listen, do you hear the stories? Oh, what happened to the fierceness? Don't you get all riled up when you hear some woman talk about her genitals being zapped while these charges are coming out? Because you're a fraud. I would kill myself if I was involved in a program that does this to women. This is reality. You know only that even kids are being tortured sexually by you guys. You molest these babies using this technology. You want to talk about me at the club when I'm like, 18 to 22? Stupid. You understand what you guys do? You think I'm going to let you escape in that? And then they try to be all like femme fatale. What? You are fucking destroying these kids in every ways and doing sexual torture. So who are the child rapists? Is you, nasty lowlife. Maybe even if it's remote, it's still that. And for these agencies that contracted this lowlife, reality will always knock on the door. You show me this thing, and it's funny. There was a testimony of this woman. I forgot her name. She was on this Ella Free podcast, which is a target individual. She's in Florida. She became a target individual. She was put in that target individual list because she went against this sheriff who in their town in Florida ended up being some kind of child rapist, child molester, and was in a ring of child molester around. And she said something because she said that she had like kids coming to her saying that this sheriff, and his people were doing things to these children. She was put in this program. Life destroy everything. She was a strong person in the community. They had destroyed, vilified her, tormented even her children who were grown. Destroyed her. Because this pedophile, this is the people like. So in everything you look at, you guys have, it's like they're surrounded by this disturbingness, and for me, it was so disgusting. And then freaking, I'm laying in bed, I'm scrolling down, and this like 4-year-old baby that's missing. This is so sad. This, and immediately, so imagine if they can make me feel stimulations when I hear children. Imagine when I see them. It's so disgusting. It's sad. This adorable baby. It's so sad. And so then they're like, no, we mapped it. Remember what you did as a kid? It's like, I'm not a kid. And even when I was a kid, I would not look at a kid and feel stimulation. Now I understand the stupid thing I did as a child. A kid is impulsive, can do some stupid things as an impulsive moment. It's nothing that, I understand you're trying to create a pattern that's non-existent. And there's no pattern because that moment happened once. And they try to create it in every possible. And it just make me think, but when you just turned 13, remember, you felt kind of like that when you saw this little 3-year-old and you kissed her on the cheek. You felt like a little. They try to force stimulation that are sexual. Try to get me to feel sexual stimulation. Trying to, not even try to, making me feel that. You know that feeling when you see something that's just super adorable. You just like it really. They're changing that to make me feel that in my growing area. They've been trying to that's what they've been doing since August 19, and they make me feel that like that when I'm a kid, when I just turned 13. It's so disgusting. To try to make me accept that today what I'm experiencing is them making me experience something I would feel when I was a child. And say we mapped it. Can you imagine? Do you think that's how it works? That you go in somebody's childhood when before his brain is still in developing stage, to try to be like, oh no, that's what you see, you felt like that, retardation. Of course not. Even my childhood memories are being played with to get me to feel something. They're tweaking things around, they're changing around to make me feel stimulations that are not going in my sexual organs. Instead of a different type of stimulations that's not sexual, but it's like, oh, you when you see something that's adorable, but changing. And I remember they started doing that. It's like, oh, you feel in your lungs. I was like, ugh, that's the way you make me experience with it. And try to say that's the way you experience it. No, it's so disturbing. And try to create patterns, finding where they can create that, and make me feel this thing as you felt it like that. It's like, no, I didn't feel it like that. You're making me experience it like that. But I'm a grown man, and they're here trying to make me think of me. Oh, when you just turned 13, how did you feel? They even go further as when you were 9 years old, because they try to find how to create these false patterns. And I'm a grown ass man here, just no, we mapped it to you when you were 10 years old. What the fuck? And I'm closing my eyes, I can hear a baby talk, and they're stimulating me. You see, we mapped it. This is crazy. So today, that's all they try to do. It is disturbing. It is foul. But target individual, you cannot subscribe or identify with this thing. Please don't. They are at war, meaning they want you to accept a manipulation. You naturally, organically will never react this way. These grown men can look at me and be like, no, we mapped it. You were. It's like, what, dude? Imagine if I was trying to make you logically think like that. It's like, what we're doing is we mapped it. What we're making you experiencing is something that you experienced when you're a child. And so we mapped that to your childhood. So the way you're reacting today is something that is mapped to your childhood. We mapped it. When you're in middle school, you see, this man is late 30s. And like, pay now. And then they'll be like, no, but what you did as a kid. He abused. Wait. What do you guys do to babies? You're grown-ass men with kids in a program that is torturing kids as young as your own babies. You're going to talk about a child in 8th grade that did some stupid thing impulsively. At this point, you are trying to create false patterns to create moments that can be like, oh, what really... And you have children. And the entities that contract you low life are filled pedophiles. And my brain is being rewired like so many other target individuals who shows an indicative patterns of the pedophilia type of torture. It is such... The correlations of what we experience is unbelievable. Target individual. This person Jackie, I never met. She died before I even knew what the target individual was. I've never met her. We have nothing in common. She's in a different world, and we have nothing. And she said the things I was saying. Oh, I experienced what she. How? She's saying that in 2011. In 2011, I was somewhere in college. What? What? What's the magical thing here? How can this person, this trans woman, says the same things to the same thing I'm saying, and she's dead before I even got into the program? Do you understand? That is correlations on the level that you can understand, and that's before. So can you imagine 2011, the level of 10 years from now? You can imagine the technology, how fast, how more like more precise things can be. If they're doing the pedophilia type of torture 10 years ago, 10 plus 12 years. Remember how our phones were 12 years ago, and how they are today. Now imagine this technology. But the tactics are the same. So for me, you're going to hear this. They call me their pedo. We know who's their pedos. They tell me that I'll pay for what I did as a child. They're going to listen to what they do to children. They're going to listen to the systematic pedophilia things they call mapping. So systematic, you will not even believe. This femme fatale try to pretend they're doing it for a woman. You're gonna hear that as always, and you're gonna hear this woman, trans woman, may she rest in peace, Jackie, who talks about what is happening to her, and it sounds exactly just like what I'm saying. While these people are telling me how they're gonna frame me, and listen to a person called Roy Moore. They cannot say his name. For the sole purpose of the people who put me in this program. Death comes to all of us. My death, they're going to create a theatrical death, a theatrical torture, meaning that they're going to try to counter all that. Because there's a grown man like that with children who's trying to look at me like, oh, castrate, but he's like, Trash, listen to what you're involved in. They try to make me think of what I did as a child, and then add the extra and give me stimulations on top of that. To make me feel like, oh, that's how you felt. I was like, that's not, what? I was a kid. First of all, that impulsive moment is just a kid that just learned how to do things. He did one, now it's been a creation. So try to find ways to recreate and create patterns of some sort, or create sensations that weren't there. Changing them and tweaking them in different ways. To be like, oh, we just mapped it to you when you were like a kid. I'm a grown man. And when you hear this child rapist being sentenced, this should include people who involved in this program in these ways. Try to manipulate people in these ways. Forcing men and women to get reactions in these disturbing ways. And be like, no, we mapped it to you when you were a kid. Now I see. And those women and men who have children who can even try to use their children in these disgusting ways. These kids like, use my hand. Ugh. And they say, yeah, abuse. I'm like, trash, not trash, but little kid, you are in a program that abuse babies as young as you. I know anybody can be involved in this. That's the warriors I'm talking about. My death, I'm thankful. It's dignified. In every ways they were trying to present themselves has been nullified, has been blocked. Oh, you doing it for women? Look at what you do to women. Or molesting, or look at what you do to babies. Or raping, look at what you do to babies. Or what? Suffocating babies? Say something. Your pedophiles? Oh, awkward. It's so bad in these agencies. When I read this article, I cannot even to grasp the level of problem of pedophilia they have there. Let me just say one before I wrap this up. In this article by BuzzFeed, it was so bad that some of the people they caught, it was almost accidentally. It's like they don't even want to catch them. This CIA agent left his computer just open, unattended, and he has child porn on his computer given by the government. Not his computer, the government's computer that is provided to them. And he was like, "Oh no, somebody changed. Something changed when I was overseas, and somebody took my phone and my laptop, and that's what happened." I was like, "What? Nothing happened to him." Another person was downloading so much child porn using government Wi-Fi, and they were trying to flip things in my brain because I was trying to say that. Can you imagine? Just even like a regular porn. You have a computer and you are downloading regular porn on your computer. That regular porn, would you even be able to, like, would you even feel comfortable doing that? This trash was downloading child porn, which they tried to flip things around when I was saying that, and felt so comfortable that he downloaded child porn on using government Wi-Fi on government computer. What kind of like sense of comfort and normal? No, they've normalized these things to that point. There's something super off. And talking about patterns, what the F? And it's not only like CIA, and there's a bunch of them from DOD and DARPA. I mean, it is a true pattern. There is no more like there's problems over there. And you gotta understand, they release just a sample. You understand that these entities are not the kind of entities that are very transparent. So for them to show that and you can still see this clear pattern, can you imagine what's not being shown? This article was released in 2021 December, basically 2022, as they were doing these things to me. Like I say, reality is something that is not going to be escaped from. I know the reality I'm in. They're going to do foul things to me. They're going to destroy my life. They're going to torment me in every way possible before I die. That's what a target individual goes through. These people are erasing, try to distort reality, where somehow they think that they're not in a program that does all these horrible things, and think that reality is not going to come to them and collect that receipt they acquired when they were gods. To me, the way they try to counter that is like, oh, you're going to be tortured, somebody's going to do things to you. There's like, listen, all of that, I understand. It's for in the word they used before, it's theatrical. It's for theater. It's for try to portray that image. Oh, God, his fingers, God, his eyes, your eyes going to be like trash. You can't even say Roy Moore. That's why this is going to happen to me. You understand? The people who put me in this program, they are flourishing insanely. Their influences have grown even more than ever. And it's not in these progressive ways that they like to present themselves as. Oh, it's the opposite. They are winning. In ways that you can't even understand. Well, these people are like, oh, it's our money. It's like, your money, say Roy Moore. Exactly. Even that. Me, the dog that they call me, the nothing, the shit, their shit, can say Roy Moore. Damn, the protector of children can't even say it like that in front of me. They say it in a timid way. They say covering it. It's so disturbing. So to all my target individual, please do not subscribe. For me, it was just a loop of just everything they've done to me and the way they try to make me think. It's just non-stop. So for me, before I'm completely depleted, I want to make sure I use my voice this way. So to all my target individual, stay strong. Because I found my strength thanks to these testimonials that you're going to hear. May Jackie rest in peace. I thank Mariana. Hopefully she's still alive. But I thank all these testimonials that put things together for me and validated me in ways that I knew was not right. I knew something I was being manipulated. It makes no sense. I'm not going to subscribe to this falsification of reality. I know who I am. I'm very sure who I am. I'm not perfect by no means. I'm far from perfect. I'm very, very far from perfection. Very far. But trust me, hearing a child talk and then get these disturbing reactions is not one of those. This is the things they do to me. And so to all my target individuals, stay strong. Know yourself, because they're going to try to change you and make you accepting of this change. And I mean psychological changes. The physical changes is nothing you can do. But psychologically, do not identify with these nasty things. It's disturbing. Things that will wholesome, things that has turned into something I detest. So stay strong and know that justice will be done.
Leading to this. I don't know how to end it. I can't call Obama. Obama's gonna be, hi, what's up, homegirl? Let's end this. No, it's not gonna happen. So long story short is, I'm reporting again because I have to report again to let you guys know what's really happening. Ugh, it's so boring. And it's such a beautiful day. I'm gonna turn around the camera so you guys can see how it looks. And it's gonna look kind of crazy, but I'm in my backyard. This is my house. Look, yay, my house. That's the backyard of my house. Yay, I have a huge house, bitches. Don't get hateful. Don't be mad. I mean, they allow me to have all these things. You know why they allow me? Because I'm a tough ass bitch. They will not allow anybody to take anything away from me. Really, hair? For real? So, I am still targeted. But then again, I am not like these targeted individuals that lose their minds and go crazy. No, I let them know. I don't give a fuck. I'm going to still carry on and live my life. I'm going to still be fabulous. I'm going to do what I have to do. I'm going to be me. I'm going to be me to the extremes where me is going to hurt somebody eventually. And it will actually have to come at me directly as a human being and not invisibly and target me as a person. So that day that somebody comes up to me and tries to get crazy with me, then we have a war. I could create a great war. I could actually end the war. Cheers. So, back to what I was saying. I am not one of these targeted individuals that just focuses so much on like, oh my god, I have to win, I have to win, I have to win. I'm winning. Like Charlie Sheen. But, no, I'm just kidding. But what I'm saying is I have to, I just can't take this whole thing into account so much. I make it so dramatic. It is dramatic. It's somebody trying to end my life. It's somebody trying to end who I am as a person. It's somebody trying to take over my mind, putting thoughts of pedophiles. Like, this disgusting, disgusting, disgusting things. You saw where I was going with that first word. Disgusting things that I don't even want to talk about because it makes me sick. I don't even like those words in my mind. But it is what it is. So I have no choice now but to acknowledge that there are people in my surroundings or whatever they're doing. I don't know how they do it. I don't care. I don't know if it's through weapons. I don't know. I don't care. I just don't want it. I don't want it in my life. I don't. I got out of work. I mean, and I've been watching and I've been reading all these stupid videos about this stuff on the damn fucking YouTube. And it's a lot of work. They spend like hours and hours on end just watching you while you sleep, while you scratch your ass, while you fart, while you do everything. That is really boring. Lovers, I'm just saying. How is that? That's a nice plane. This is reminding me of 9/11. 9/11! Anyway, just kidding. I'm going to keep my updates funny and I'm going to keep them funny because I cannot live my life stressed out because I know that people are reading my mind. I know that people are putting shit in my head. I know what is happening to me. I know. But I'm not going to worry my whole entire life about this because somebody wants to ruin my life because I've done nothing wrong. I've never raped a child, never molested, never killed, never done anything stupid, never killed. Did I kill that? I killed a roach once. Once. And that's because I was tough and drunk that day. Anything else, I can't kill. I don't have the capacity or the thing inside of me to just kill something because it's not me. I don't have the capacity to hurt anything. I will punch a bitch though. A bitch is talking shit, and if I know they're involved in this, oh, you're in trouble. I'm just saying. But long story short, lovers, make sure to stay true to you. I've been cocktailing, of course. I'm just excited today. I'm just in a good mood because I've taken the power back. Tomorrow they might take it because, I mean, it's really strong stuff that they do. Whatever mechanical, girl, that's a lot of work. I don't have time to worry about people's work and how they do it and how many times they blast stuff at your head and what else do they do? They do a lot of stuff. They put shit in your head and I know and I hear they
target. Most common examples include homosexual targets that are forced with voices that are derogatory to their lifestyle and similar mental images. Almost all targets are forced to view child pornography in their minds, and vice versa.
What is referred to as malodorance. This is the alteration of the smell sensation so that I am often made to smell various things, including smoke, burning, dirty diaper, or baby powder, which they sometimes combine with the pedophilia type of torture.
I'm going to make you pay for all of the years of torture that I've taken, and all you are going to hear is aggravation for every single second of my privacy that you have taken away from me and my family. Ben said the slaves began a program of perversion. First was with my dog. I am very playful with my pet, and suddenly one day that I was petting him I felt strange, in the sense of the word. I thought, this is strange, and then afterwards that strange sensation continue. Then in that moment I realized that was impost, so I thought, look at this losers, don't know how to put me down, and they are doing this. So I told them that I know what you are trying to do, and I started laughing, and then I said again out loud, you'll never take my will, ass. So just to show them that I meant what I said, I kept playing with my dog, and even though that attacks continue, I don't let them get me. Today they continue with the programming of perversion, but this time they are aiming in the use of people, better said young people, also children.
This technology can be used to sexually manipulate the target. It can make the target feel sexual arousal,
had sexual contact with a 2-year-old and a 6-year-old, he was simply fired. One employee purchased sexually explicit videos of young girls filmed by their mothers. He resigned. One employee estimated that he had viewed up to 1,400 sexually abusive images of children while on agency assignments. Not sure what actions, if any, were taken by him. One contractor arranged for sex with an undercover FBI agent. I think that you mentioned that. Posing as a child, he had his contract revoked. One CIA staffer was charged with child sexual crimes, and the employee was also under investigation for mishandling classified sensitive information. In a November 2009 report, the Department of Defense acknowledged that dozens of Pentagon staff members or contractors had such images. In 2014, the Inspector General of the Intelligence Community found that 2 officials from the National Reconnaissance Office, which oversees America's spy satellites, acknowledged viewing images of child sexual abuse during polygraph examinations. This is so disturbing. At a symposium in 2016, Daniel Payne, a top Pentagon security official, said that when workers' computers were examined, the amount of child porn I see is just unbelievable.
I was put through recruitment into the intel community. You know, you're put through polygraphs, you're put through a rigorous selection process. Why aren't these people weeded out? Why are so many pedophiles allowed to be given top-level security clearance? Remember, these aren't just people walking in off the street and saying, hey, can I get hired? Can I get a job? You're put through an extremely rigorous background check screening process. It's called an SSBI, single scope background investigation. There are people, they interview you, they interview your family, they interview your contacts, they go through your online footprint, they go through everything. So why is it that when they're going through these footprints, they're not checking, these digital footprints, they're not checking for so many pedophiles getting through?
Yeah.
This, the CIA, raping children and sexually assaulting children, and they're not being prosecuted? Where are you? Fake tits and tap water.
Yeah.
This, the CIA, raping children and sexually assaulting children, and they're not being prosecuted? Where are you?
With young children. I had a 7-year-old client who has autism, and she was the most significantly affected of all of my clients. I eventually had to tell this client to go to another clinic, and they used her to threaten the most torture in me as well as their most extreme forms of torture. For several months, she would cry and scream horribly during our therapy sessions despite having a great day at school. This was highly unusual behavior for her, as she usually behaved very well during her therapy sessions and had been making incredible progress on all of her therapy goals. This was used to threaten extreme torture on me, making me scream and cry, etc. They would make the kids act out the kinds of torture that would later be done on me. Severe sexual torture, severe bite mark on her arm. She has also grabbed her crotch saying, "Ow," and this was used to threaten me with severe sexual torture, the same way that I do when I am being more severely suffocated. The suffocation had been in a mild state for a while up until this point. Many of their torture methods are cyclical in severity. Right after I saw this child being suffocated, then I began to experience very extreme suffocation all day, Down syndrome, as well as her 5-year-old sister who also has Down syndrome. I observed both of these girls suddenly grabbing their genitals in pain and verbalizing, "Ow." Then he made a frightening grimace. During one session, I observed one of my 3-year-old clients suddenly grab his crotch and lean forward in his chair. And then he made a frightening grimace of severe pain. I asked him what was wrong and if he needed to use the restroom, but he said,
"My young child and I have been used as non-consensual test subjects. We have been subjected to COINTELPRO-like stalking, remote neural monitoring, and electromagnetic torture, resulting in psychological and physical damage." And I won't go into the details of that because I have 4 pages written in here that is very similar to Connie's testimony.
Actual photographs of burns on my body. When I went to my doctor, the response was, "How do I know you didn't do that to yourself? How do you even address that?" I've passed 2 psychological evaluations, not 1, but 2. The one physician said, "You're mentally sound as a bell." He said, "I don't have any idea what's going on with you." When I go to sleep, when I go to try to sleep, I feel like I'm being lit up like a Christmas tree. I feel every cell in my body just bouncing out of my body. I can't even describe it. I get electric shock of my rectum. I get electric shock up my nose. I've woken up with burns on the end of my tongue. I've had burns on the palms of both of my hands. I vibrate. Never had the courage to do the same thing and show our Defense Department we are not the enemy. We are not to be attacked. We are not terrorists. Most of us are defenseless women.
And am a victim of organized
We
stalking,
need this to stop.
electronic
That's it.
harassment, microwave torture,
I've been targeted for 9 years.
24/7.
Please become more aware of this crime and those that the crime is being committed against. We need your support and help in ending this crime.
Hello, my name is Wendy Brown. I'm a targeted individual who is living in New Zealand, but my targeting began in California. I'm an American citizen, and the targeting continues in New Zealand. I'm making this video in remembrance of Targeted Individual Day, our 3rd annual Targeted Individual Day. And I'm asking that every honest-hearted human being open their eyes to a crime.
My name is Jeanette. I am 56 years old and I live.
the sensation of something going up my crotch and in and out, etc. They also often force vaginal discharges and zap my genitals at the same time. These sexual assaults are present throughout the day, every day, and anytime I am awakened at night, every night. They range from mild to extreme, but usually involve daily and nightly continuous assaults for the past 3 years now. When severe, the zaps to the genitals feel as though someone is electrocuting my genitals repeatedly.
There was lotion all over my bathroom floor. All I wanted to do was just get on a plane and get the hell away from everybody. And I was, very, very sick and in a lot of pain. I had already been denied a rape kit when I owned my house, and woke up, and my hair had obviously been pulled out and there were earplugs in my bed. And I felt like someone had done something. I went to Palos Community Hospital under the directions of a non-compromised police officer who told me that if anything happened, to go right to the hospital. So I did. And I had a compromised doctor who treated me like a third-rate citizen and said she would give me an STD test and a drug test. But she refused me a rape kit. And so I had already been
and have had a decent education. I live in El Dorado Hills, California, with my wife of 14 years, Lorna, and our 5 children. Nicole is 15, Patricia 14, Christopher 13, Dylan 9, and Avery 16 months old. Not only have I been going through this, but my entire family has suffered right by my side. We have all experienced the same type of harassment on different levels. We have all suffered the same symptoms while this harassment was going on. Some of our physical symptoms include severe tooth decay and vision loss, unexplained rashes and burns, severe headaches, mood swings, anxiety, thyroid problems, high blood pressure, heart problems, vision loss and cancer.